for the month of January 2025. What I see here is you've been going through a little relationship difficulty, I would say, for the most part. At least your home front or a significant connection to you has been the issue. You could be dealing with an air sign. I see Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. I also see this could be a father figure, and this could also represent as someone's dealing with the courts, law, legal matters, contracts, anything that that King of Swords sort of orients around that. Now, there has been some level of disappointment, but you're in recovery of that disappointment. You are quite exhausted. Whatever this was, I feel like you're feeling a level of burnout here with the 10 of Wands showing up. So January, there's been a heavy workload or there's been a lot of emotional difficulty for you. I do feel like you're starting to see your way through a situation now in the month of January. So there might be some boundaries being set here with that 10 of Wands, but I definitely feel like, everything has been a little bit exhausting for you. So where you are right now in terms of a relationship is just you're tired, and there might have been a lot of disagreements, but it was almost a little bit of the emotional letdown in terms of a depression or an apathy or restlessness, that kind of thing. But you are breaking away from that. There's a recovery of some sort here. So it's a bit of a reset for you. We are able to start to feel like you can take and then move forward. You're in the energy of it right now, which means it's not like a quick resolve for sure. Some of you, this is going to be a little further out. You're all on different timelines. You don't make a decision on a Sunday or a Tuesday or whatever. It's something that you kind of work your way through. But the general energy, and again, for wherever you find yourself on the timeline of this, whether you're just moving into it or you're already in it, or a little bit further out, it does feel like your emotions have been quite really played havoc with you in the situation. So it's almost like an evolution of your emotions right now that you're just trying to sort of work through, because it has been a bit of a burnout situation. So even in terms of finances, although I am seeing more of this, I mean, your finances are in question. I do have some other cards sort of further out on the side, which I'll put forward here as well. But it just feels like there's been a lot of a heavy load or a burden, even in terms of finances. There's some things that are still percolating. As I said, I pulled these cards off to the side, but we'll kind of get into those here in a second. Has been on the family front for sure. And again, it's been some heart-wrenching moments. Like I said, you've been let down. Emotionally, there's been a bit of a heartbreak. There's been some harsh words, but it's like there's a new idea or some kind of clarity, which is going to unburden things. It's going to unburden the family. It's going to unburden, whatever that you were feeling was sort of shadowing your joy of living, or something along that line. So there's definitely some energy here of, trying to work through it all now. So again, the King of Swords definitely speaks to, like I said, father figure, court system, anything that's kind of in that energy of resolving or seeing through clearly through that situation. So I feel like there's a little bit of mental exhaustion, more physical exhaustion though, specifically, but then a sense of where you've needed to kind of reflect on something. You're sort of in that space of unfinished healing, but you're still working through it. So it's creating space for you really is what you need to do for this period. And, you will take the time and make the actions maybe a little bit further out. But right now, I just feel like you're kind of past your own limits right now. But again, could be dealing with an authoritative figure, somebody who's very intellectual, rational, that kind of thing, approaches, situations in that same way as well, based on facts. So it's definitely dealing with an analytical person. You could be thinking more along this line as well, but there is more clear communication where it's very direct and, articulate. So it's just a straightforward way of dealing with things for you this month. There is more communication. It's more abrupt, direct, not, know, um, maybe even with a little bit of a detachedness as well, but it's trying to remain unbiased and fair in how you communicate so you're almost sort of putting your personal feelings aside or your emotional attachments, and just because you're tired, it feels like you're just exhausted. So just maybe have been dealing with too many challenges over this last little bit, and this kind of made life a little bit more of a burden and complex. So I just feel like you're moving past that or moving through it right now, because you're needing to kind of into a role of, being a lot more being a lot more fair, being a lot more integral. You just, that's just where you're at. I don't see a lot of emotional energy here. It just feels like you just want to deal with things in a very direct way. You want to use your verbal skills to kind of navigate through any situations that you're having to confront right now. So, not a real time of emotional give and take and reciprocation, but certainly, conversations seem to be more open and more um, let's get things done type of energy. So there's not a lot of emotional influences here. Like I said, I feel like you're being much more objective and rational, weighing pros and cons in a situation, and able to kind of move forward. So a lot of that energy here is still structured energy. And again, you could be using the law or using rules, implementing them more so in how you go forward here. But I feel like you're trying to resolve conflicts, make important decisions together, even though you are in a bit of a burnout sort of stage. So, in terms of career and work, this would be taking a leadership role, being more strategic in the way that you deal with something, but planning and looking after legal elements, or legal matters, and that kind of thing. So, professionally, you're applying that in a rational, objective way. Like I said, strong ethical integrity, but very wise decisions that you're making, and it's putting you into a space of where you feel like you've got some power, some influence, or again, you could be dealing with somebody who has that same aptitude. But you're communicating very well. How you actually feel is being more on this. How do I put that? Your feelings aren't really so much the issue. It's more about what you want to get done. That's what you're able to convey in a very straightforward way. So you're trying to be fair and you're trying to be direct in how you're moving forward there. So again, when I see the Ten of Wands out there, I mean, this could be again implementing, more boundaries around your time and your energy. It definitely speaks to feeling the burden. It feels like it could be affecting your personal and your professional life here as well, on the home front as well. But you're almost keeping to yourself more so. Even your emotions and even your finances aren't really being discussed at this time. There's still a lot that's sort of sitting on the back burner that you're kind of working through. So responsibilities and commitments have overwhelmed you, and now this is that space where you're trying to you've taken on too much and you're finding ways to release it because you've got too much. It feels like it's been constant pressure, especially around a connection. Has felt like there's been a lot of pressure around the connection, something that's draining you, like I say, where you're struggling to keep up with demands. And this is where you need to start prioritizing more. And that's what I feel is happening here. So, Ten of Wands is again a completion of a cycle. So you are done, 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 done. This little scenario here, you're wrapping up the tail end of something. And again, you're going to be reassessing and your priorities here and getting clear. Again, even with the heartbreak and the conflicts, it feels like that's all being worked through, although it might be a little bit more of a residual energy into February as well. But you're recognizing what you need now and where you need the help, where you need to delegate those responsibilities, or where you need the support from a family situation or whatever, because family is very much highlighted, is certainly around your resources, certainly around your home front. And again, there's a lot coming out here in terms of good stuff coming in with that Seven of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles following up. It's a little further out around, you have a bit for that. Something is still being seeded to kind of come through, but it is going to come through. Everything is going to turn around for you in a very good way. Ten of Wands is still that energy, like I say, where you need to sort of hand off some of the extra responsibilities if you can, or at least reprioritize what really is important that's to get done versus doing it all. You have recognized your own limits here, but Ten of Wands, it's pretty much at the space of, you need a little more work that's involved here. But you can communicate what needs to be done much more directly. But you're nearing the finish line. That's what I'm trying to get at. Ten of Wands, you're nearing the finish line. You're almost to the end of this challenging period, and then everything open up to you. But again, you're still sort of reassessing your commitments and how you sort of go forward as far as self-care and how to balance that out. Um, but again, the Ten of Wands is still a connection. So maybe, like I said, there might be some other elements that have to kind of process out into February with that. But the Ten of Wands and the Two of Cups does still speak to something very favorable, despite it having been weighing on you emotionally. And it certainly does impact you emotionally in a partnership. Again, business or personal, but whatever this external pressure was, it certainly impacted your communication skills. It could have been around work and family obligations as well, because I do see the professional card out here as well. But like I said, I feel like, you're at the end of that. So something is going to, it's been a little bit of a disconnect between the two of you for a period here, but all of that's changing. And it's going to lighten up the load here, as the very next card after a 10 of Wands will be, some kind of reestablished passionate union again. We're not there yet, and it's not quite in the clarifier, but the Two of Cups does tell me it's an indicator that the challenging period is nearing that completion. So just know you're in a really good clearing up, tying up the loose ends sort of space, and you're ready to communicate more openly in the next month, I would suspect, for most of you, where you're able to work together and restore that emotional balance. So there is importance with that type of partnership where there is usually mutual respect with the two of us, and I feel like that foundation is resolving those challenges, and it is going to be much more stable going forward. So family responsibilities and obligations, all of that is going to be restored here. There's going to be more harmony going forward here after this month, and there's going to be a lot more peace and unity. All of that is going to be going forward. So anyway, just to let you know, we are also, sorry, interruption there. Just to let you know, we're on to the Four of Wands. So that is the card that's kind of, could be a celebration coming in as well. Possibly in January, but it feels like it's more February because it is sitting there with the Seven of Pentacles as the card that is, meaning it's something is further out, something is still in pause, something is still being contemplated. But the Four of Wands, like I said, and the Seven of Pentacles does mean that there's something further out that is going to be to your advantage here. And it feels like it's a really grounded monetary sort of situation, whatever this is. So even though there's a pause, there's a milestone that's in progress, and it's about to sort of solidify things for you going forward. So it's a level of success in something here, and it's a milestone, but it's a moment where you're going to actually have you're going to be able to enjoy some kind of financial stability, because there's a growth. There's financial growth in this period. You're in the energy of it. It's not quite meant to show itself yet, but you're in the energy of it. So it's a time for reflection and patience, because whatever is being planned here is for the future. It has long-term potential. Right now, it's sort of in the stage of being evaluated. The finances are definitely at the forefront here as a part of this goal, but you are in the energy where it's going to manifest here in a pretty exponential way. So that's just a short version for the read for you guys, but that's what I have for the month of January. But going forward, February should look to be pretty good for you. I will do February in a little bit, but like I said, you are laying the foundation for things to succeed in terms of a connection, as well as for your family, and and that's relative to your family finances. And connections there, like I said. But either way, there's stability coming in. More so for February. January, you're resolving, tying up issues. The planning stage is going on right here, and getting through some of the conflict and the heartbreak and the things that sort of create some distance there for you. But either way, I just feel like overall there's an accomplishment that you are setting yourself up for. It involves family, and it's a milestone of some sort here that's going to turn, as of February. You should see some of that energy and the reconnection of things. Anyway, that's what I have for you. Keep moving forward, never give up, and we'll check in and touch base again for February. That's what I have for you, Taurus.